Welcome back. This is Etude number 23 in F sharp minor, one of the etudes for this year's all region auditions for ATSSB schools. This is the second part of this etude. So let's get going. Part 2 of this etude constitutes measures 25 through 40, and all of those measures are in the key of F sharp minor. So let's hear how it sounds. The key of this section is all in F sharp minor. Let's review the F sharp minor scale and its common accidental E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D natural, left F or E sharp, F sharp. And we're going to be seeing E sharp several times in this part of the etude. Speaking of E sharp, we see that frequently toward the end of the etude, because it is the so-called leading tone. It heads to the key of F sharp minor. And so in most of the instances, we'll be playing E sharp as left F. At least once you'll be playing it as regular F. But get used to thinking of it, even if you see E sharp, get used to thinking of it as F. We also have an instance of B sharp, and you see I've marked it in the music as C. I hate even thinking about B sharp. So I'm thinking C to C sharp at that spot. Now let's look at counting and the rhythms involved. There are 3 beats in a bar in this etude, and let's count the first 8 measures of today's part together. 1, 2, 3, 1, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. Now, let's look at the coda, which starts in the middle of that same measure. It's all ands of the beat, and 3, and 1. So when you practice this separately, get used to thinking and 3, and 1. And 3, and 1, because that's where the pickup notes belong. Let's count that section. And 3, and 1, and 2, 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 and 3, and 1. 2, and 1. Notice the last note is 2 counts of duration. There are no significant articulation issues in this part of the etude. There are no staccato notes. Just pay attention to where the slurs go. And from an early stage of your practice, make sure you're tonguing where the music tells you. If you're not sure, take the instrument out of your mouth and blow air while you play a metronome like this. Etc. Work in 2 to 4 measure groups, making sure that you know where the articulation lies at all times. Let's review the warm-up that we did at the beginning of this etude in part 1. Long tones going from the middle range of the oboe near the bottom, then middle of the range of the oboe going up, then scale of your choice, and then scale of the composition, which is F sharp minor in this case. Now let's look at the technical issues in measures 25 through 28, the first 4 measures of this part. There are no unusual leaps at all. Think legato and make the crescendos and diminuendos slight, not exaggerated. I will tell students it starts piano and you do crescendo and diminuendo, but stay in the city limits, so to speak, of piano. Measures 29 through 32 have 2 small technical issues we're going to look at now. One is the unusual note B sharp, so we're going to play A, B sharp, C, going to C sharp. then this very tricky C sharp, E sharp, F sharp. I spent a lot of time as a young person playing this because it was very awkward for me, and I had a bad habit of hopping my index finger really bad. To successfully play this in time, have the half hole just barely uncovered so you have a minimum of movement when you go from C sharp to left F. Try it tongued first. Make sure you're pushing your air outward with no brakes. Then try it slurred. See, I had a little break there. I still got to go back and practice that section. It's easy to be afraid of those three notes. Instead, practice with air. Keep the teeth away, lower teeth away from the reed. Always practice this with a metronome. I find students who do not practice with a metronome, when they get to the coda, where it's all 16th notes, they start to speed up. You must condition yourself to only perform and 3 and 1 and 2. When your mind is racing and your blood pressure's up and you're a little bit nervous and tense at the audition, it's easy to rush. Control your speed. So that section is not very difficult from a technical standpoint. It's controlling the speed and remembering that E sharp is really F. And so let's look for a moment at measures 35. Measure 35, which starts with left F. You're going to play left F, D, B, right side G sharp, left F, and D again. Avoid forked F. So look at it one more time. Left F, D, B, right G sharp, left F, D. That ugly arpeggio is referred to as the E sharp diminished 7 arpeggio, a fancy term to mean very awkward. The downbeat of measure 36 is the loudest spot in the composition. Don't diminuendo too much too soon. To plan the rate of diminuendo, first turn on a metronome and play a low note. D is a good one. Work 6 counts at a time. Then add a C sharp in rhythm, just keeping the face still. Then do the same routine with D and C sharp, but add a little bit of a diminuendo. Now I chose the note D because if you look at measures 36 and 37, you're going to see a lot of going back and forth from D to C sharp. Let's look at the technique there. You have D, C sharp, B. If you have an advanced instrument, you can play this by holding the C sharp key down and adding the B key. You don't have to roll the finger. Test it on your instrument. If it works, then hey, you've got a labor-saving trick. If it doesn't work, then you're going to have to roll your right little finger to the C natural key. I had to do that all through high school. I had a basic level instrument in high school. But you notice you go back and forth in measures 36 and 37 to that low D natural. And then you have the semi-chromatic scale in measure 38, F sharp, E, E flat, D, C sharp, C natural, C sharp, and there's no getting around it. You will have to flex the little finger on and off that key. So sorry. If you refer back to my performance of the last 2 lines of this etude, you probably noticed I did a little bit of a retard at the end. I find it's a tasteful way to end it, as long as it's a small amount of the retard. Talk to your private instructor and see if he or she agrees with that. Ultimately, follow their advice. Unusual for this part of the etude is that Ferling wrote quite a few dynamic changes. I have made one suggestion on the last line. Do not decrescendo exactly where marked. Wait 1 measure. This will give you more time to do the decrescendo and plan it in a reasonable amount of time. I've had several students make all state playing this etude in that manner, so I'm pretty confident that any judges will find it acceptable in this interpretation. Always think about tone quality. Before you play the technical parts of a phrase, play a long tone and listen. Add that face and that air and that vibrato to the music. Ultimately, the best asset the oboe has is a good tone quality. Well, we've reached the end of this etude. What a journey we've had together. You're going to be practicing every day through the fall to prepare for all region auditions. If I can be of help to you, please contact me at the email or at the phone number given on your screen. Good luck, and I hope that you find these videos instructive and helpful in preparing you for the audition in the end of the fall semester. Take care.